You are listening to a reproduction of Uncle Sam's Farm Radio School from the United States Department of Agriculture in 1926. Disclaimer: do not assume content reflects current scientific knowledge, policies, or practices. This broadcast was aired 6th of October 1926. Before we start this broadcast, the class pamphlets for these farm lessons are linked in the information section below. You will find today's lesson on page 34 of the document. Also included is Farmer's Bulletin number 1413 titled Poultry House Construction below.
This evening marks the opening of Uncle Sam's Poultry Radio School. Students already enrolled and others who wish to become members will give us their attention for the next few minutes. Most of you will make valuable use of the printed talks, which are sent without charge to those who request enrollment blanks. Send your requests to this station. We are now going to introduce our spokesman for Dr. M.A. Jull, expert on poultry raising of the United States Bureau of Animal Industry. From him, you will hear the first of our regular Wednesday lessons in poultry.
This time of year, I believe a pullet in the hen house is worth 2 roosting in a tree. Wait until I light the lantern. I want to take you with me on the rounds to the hen houses. I do this every evening before I settle down. Nice moon tonight, isn't there? Watch out for that fence. Remember the old days when we figured most any place was good enough for the hens? That was when eggs were worth a dime a dozen. We'd let them roost in the trees in summer and on the manger in the cow barn in the wintertime. I don't blame the hens for choosing the trees then. Do you see any pullets in these trees? Or on the binder tongue? Of course you don't. There aren't any there. I couldn't have said that a year ago. Here's one of the new houses. It's really a brooder house, but I use it for the pullets before they start to lay. It's called a colony house. We keep it out in the orchard all summer. Just move it to a new, clean ground now and then. The county agent told me a poultry house must be tight and light and pleasant. That's really about all you have to remember. You'll notice this house has plenty of window space and floor space. There are 35 pullets in here. The house is 12 feet square. That allows about 4 square feet for every chicken. That's just about right. Yes, I leave the windows open in warm weather and close them in the fall. When the weather is severe, we drop a muslin-covered frame down over the other openings. That keeps the house warm and dry. Dry, fresh air, and plenty of it. That's what keeps pullets thrifty and healthy. Drafts and poor ventilation certainly ruin poultry profits. Do you feel any drafts in here? Is it wet? Is there a bad smell? No, sir. I built this house when I found my pullets would rather roost outside and take their chances with Jack Frost and the varmints than to go into the old, dark, damp shed. I tore it down and used most of the material again. We made this house out of ordinary tight board siding, nailed on 2-inch by 4-inch studding. That makes a good, clean job. It depends a lot on the cost and the climate, what kind of roof you use. This house has tight floors. We built this house on 4-inch by 6-inch runners. A team pulls it wherever we want it to go. Do you see those openings between the rafters at the back of the house? That's a new wrinkle in ventilation and a good one. But be sure this space is closed tightly in the fall. How much did this house cost? About $50 for material. I figure the labor's worth about $33. That makes $83 for all. For a lighthouse like this, the material shouldn't cost more than $1.40 for each chicken in it. It costs more to build the permanent laying house I'm going to show you directly. These pullets look comfortable, don't they? I believe in making everything on my farm happy. Milk from contented cows, eggs from singing hens. I just naturally sleep better when the livestock is as well taken care of as myself. Now let's go out to the laying house. It isn't far. You'll notice this laying house is built to stay. It is 18 feet deep and 44 feet long, and will take care of a couple of hundred hens, but I haven't that many in it now. It's built on a concrete foundation which starts below frost line. We bolted the sills to the foundation and nailed the studs on them. The walls are made of matched siding. The roof is wide, matched sheathing laid on 2-inch by 6-inch rafters, and then covered with prepared roofing. You see, there's plenty of window space here too. Good ventilation without drafts. That spells healthy hens. About 1/3 of the front is in windows and openings. These openings are either partly or entirely covered with sliding muslin-covered frames when it is cold or storming. I aim never to let the floor, litter, or hens get wet. About all you need inside are nests, dropping boards, roosts, and a few hoppers for the mash, grit, and oyster shell. These I built myself, according to college plans. I have 1 nest for every 6 hens. The nests and the rest of the inside fittings aren't fancy. It isn't necessary. The more joints and cracks there are, the more places there will be for lice and mites to hide. Everything should be made so it can be cleaned easily. The roosts are laid in grooves, cut in side supports, nailed to the wall studding. They can be taken out for spraying and cleaning. They won't turn when the hens perch on them. Even the hoppers are made so they are easy to spray and disinfect. The windows are high. You'll notice that allows the sun to roach back to the roosts and kills the germs that are hiding there. The nests should be fairly dark to keep the hens from eating eggs. I built these nests under the dropping boards, about 2 feet off the floor. There's a door, hung on hinges, that swings down in front of them. Fresh air, the right kind of food, and exercise, that's our recipe for getting eggs. I make mine exercise by throwing the grain in this deep straw litter. You ought to see the hens scratch for it in the mornings, and listen to them sing. Well, that's all on houses until next Wednesday evening. Everyone who has not handed in their name and address, do so at once, so that free material may be sent to you.
This show was researched and produced by BreakAway Empire LLC.